What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? Give everybody a few minutes to get in here. Kringle, give me my chance to rant, and then you can rant too. What's up, Keith? Got the camera up a little bit higher today. Give everybody just a few more minutes. Your 810 or pop mouthpiece. I don't know where my 510 one went to. I quit using the K Fun and tanks like that for a while, and all of a sudden my drip tips are gone. Give everybody just a few more minutes. Your 810 or pop mouthpiece. I don't know where my 510 one went to. I quit using the K Fun and tanks like that for a while. But as you can see, I am using the K Fun on top of the Oceanus, kind of a throwback vape. Haven't used that in a while. Your 810
What is up,
Jaffa?
mouthpiece.
I don't know where my 510 one went to. I quit turning my audio on so I could hear myself, but I think I'm not going to do that anymore. Where are the sheep? Here we go. Parallel gauge, what's up? Hey, look, we got the old crew back together. So, we're going to rant a little bit today, and I've got to pull up some websites so I have all the information I wanted. I'm not going to touch on the San Francisco stuff because I touched on that, I think it was last week or the week before that. So, I can't find what I was looking for, but we'll be alright. So, the FDA. We have, I've talked to a few people about what the FDA is trying to do. In case you guys didn't hear, at least the Supreme Court case that I was trying to keep up with, where we were suing the FDA for trying to get the date pushed back. We lost. The FDA asked for 10 months from the ruling to get the PMTAs sent in, get the deadline and everything set up. So, what I'm hearing is the FDA or the juice companies and manufacturers of equipment are going to be the ones that are having to deal with the FDA. Again, this is just what I'm being told, so whether it's true or not, I'm not sure. But the FDA is going to be dealing with the juice manufacturers, the hardware manufacturers, as far as the PMTAs go. and I'm hearing 22 months um, from, I'm guessing 22 months from the ruling. The juice companies will either, I'm guessing the hardware manufacturers as well, will either go out of business or they will have their stuff approved through the PMTA process. Um, it's going to suck. It's going to suck really bad. Um, I'm not 100% on this yet. I'm still waiting to have some conversations with a few more people to get the final word. But uh, we lost that case. I have heard that there's an appeal that it will be filed again in the Supreme Court. I'm not sure how that will go. I know that I had talked to a couple of people before the case got heard that had said that if we were to win the case, it would be one on appeal, not on the first ruling. So I guess there's still hope, but uh, guys, it looks like 22 months from around today. If nothing changes, the juice selection in shops and possibly the hardware selection as well will not be what it used to be. It will not be uh, as good as we would like to have it, but I guess it is what it is, and we will have to go from there. Uh, Not necessarily happy about it, but it is what it is. And if the vape industry wants to survive, we keep fighting. I don't think that this is by any means the end of the vape industry. Uh, it is a change that I think a lot of us saw coming. Uh, I've talked about it before. It's regulation, no matter whether I agree with it or not, is not something that I think we're going to be able to. Uh, it's not something we're going to be able to outrun. It's not something I think we're going to be able to totally stop. I think regulation is coming. Uh, Even if we win the appeal, I mean, we're still going to be regulated. It's just a question of how heavy the regulation will be. It's it's like I said before, it sucks. Um, I'm not sure what's going to happen with um, online sales and the such. Um, I think that that will largely depend on how uh, I can't word right now. I think it's largely going to depend on how the online industry adjusts to the new regulations as they come down. Java said I'll still be able to vape because I have a friend in the UK that'll send me juice. I do appreciate that, Jaffa. I don't think it's going to come down to that. I really don't. Um, I think a lot of. I do think there will be a few juice companies in America that do go. Uh, Largely because the numbers that I'm hearing thrown around as far as how much it's going to cost to get your juice approved, they're extremely high. So I do think some juice companies will not survive. Um, but I do think that uh, I do think there will be a good number of juice companies that will survive. Uh, Whether it's the full line or whether it's, they keep maybe 4 or 5 flavors, get those approved, and then slowly work new flavors in as they can afford to get them approved. Uh, I don't know that it'll be cut in half, Jaffa. I really don't. Uh, I think a lot of it will depend on how much the each particular company wants to throw into it. I do think the amount of flavors that a lot of these companies are offering will be cut just for money reasons. They may not be able to afford to. Uh, they may not be able to afford to get PMTA submitted on all their flavors, which that's fine. Uh, I would rather have 1,000 juice companies that offer 4 flavors than 4 juice companies that offer 1,000 flavors. Yeah, Kringle, you told me about that. Sweden, and they're not the only ones, but Sweden is planning on being smoke and vape free by 2025. Uh, and basically, what they're doing is, uh, I think Sweden's the ones that's doing it. They're basically aging people out of it. Like every year or 2 years, they're going to up the age, the minimum age that you have to be to buy vape products or smoke products. And they're not the only country that's doing it. I don't think that'll work. I think that'll just create a bigger black market for tobacco products in general. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Prohibition has been tried, and at least in America, it didn't work. I know there are some countries that it's a little bit easier to get away with that kind of stuff, but you're no matter where you are, you're going to have people that don't care if it's against the law or not. I mean, that's just the way it is. Oh, and for those of you that might be wondering, oh, nice. There's somebody else that is uh, slowly going to be aging people out of being able to buy tobacco products or vapor products. I just can't remember who it is. Uh, but I was going to say something. Oh, you guys always ask what I'm vaping on. So I do have the K Fun on the Oceanus with a Galeese 2700 on the inside and Cowboy Cooler from Vape Wild in 12 milligram. Just a really good vape. Uh, then I have the PAL 2 in 2 different colors. Um, this one has watermelon lime from Juicehead in it, and this one has the Killer Custard from Vapetasia in it. Both of those are in 50 milligram salt nick. So, uh, Kringle, that's really up to you. Uh, I'll be honest. If it came down to me being afraid to vape because of getting fined, Um, I'm not sure what I do. I'm not sure I can live there anymore. Yeah, stuff like this rarely is brought up to vote. Um, any kind of prohibition like that is usually something that is created by whatever your legislative body is. Um, so that's not unusual. And there are public bans as far as vaping and cigarettes go in America, but they've all been implemented by uh, individual municipalities, some cities, some states. Uh, my general rule of thinking is if I can't smoke there, then I'm not going to vape there either. But that's just me. Jaffa says it's pissing him off how selfish some people are. Uh, Put a post up letting people know in the UK. They said we'll be fine, just USA won't, and that bull's the piss. Uh, Jaffa, you'll see that in a lot of places. Uh, if the country that a certain person's living in is not doing it, then they're not going to worry about what other countries are doing. I will give the UK a lot of credit uh, for their very progressive look at vaping. Uh, they're doing a lot of very good things, and they're putting out information that our government is just flat out ignoring. Uh, and what kills me about what our government's doing is they're using the kids as a reason to do it, but they're only attacking vaping whenever underage drinking is up. They're not attacking the alcohol manufacturers. It's buzzwords. It's buzzwords. They started, you know, putting out bad information about vaping a long time ago. It hasn't stopped, and it's not going to. Uh, Pharmaceutical companies and big tobacco are paying a lot of money, so it seems like the a lot of the European countries are the ones that are actually out doing their due diligence whenever it comes to vaping. Um, Not all of them, but a lot of them are. Yeah, that's again, Kringle. I mean, that's not unusual. Uh, it's not something that they bring up for a public ban or public vote because they most of the time they know that the ban wouldn't pass. I know, Jaffa. I know. Kids are going to do what kids are going to do, and it's really down to the parents to try to inform them the best they can. And it's gotten to the point to where we don't blame parents anymore. It's all on everybody else. It's everybody else's fault. That's the toughest thing about it is there are kids out there that are going to smoke. Um, and I can't say that kids should vape because you all know my stance on that. I've made that very clear. But it comes down to would you rather them smoke or vape, and that's not a question I can answer for anybody else. I can only answer it for myself. Yeah, yeah, I know. It's using kids is a cheap ploy that always works. And that's why they keep using it. That's why they keep using it. Guys, if using kids as an excuse didn't work, they would quit using it, but it always works. And I'm not sure how you keep it from working. I'm really not. That's a question that's been asked for years, and there's never been an answer because they're still using it. Do kids vape? I'm sure. I'm sure. The question is where they get them from, though, because we've had people that after they turned 18 admitted that their parents would get their vape stuff for them. Yeah, see, Bubba's saying the same thing. Bubba says he worked for a vape shop and saw that more often than not, parents buying their kids vapes so that they wouldn't. Uh, I think you mean wouldn't smoke, but just crack down on your kids and don't let them do either one. Yeah, I mean, it. Like I said, I can't answer the question of should you let your kid vape or smoke. That's that's not mine to answer. But alcohol is still legal. Yeah, the parenting is, and I can say this, I am a parent. When your kid does something that is they're not supposed to do, when did that become everybody else's fault? When did that become somebody else's fault? Well, the thing is, and I've touched on this before. Um, One of the reasons why vaping gets such hate from the government in America is there's this thing, and it's not brought up enough, but there's this thing called the master settlement. Uh, there's this thing called the master settlement where the states all got together pretty well and sued the tobacco industry because their tobacco was causing cancer. And they basically said, hey, we're having to pay for this. What are you going to do about it? And so the states started getting money from the tobacco industry to help pay for uh, the care of the people that were getting cancer, and they uh, they get so much from every pack of cigarettes sold, and that's money that they count on. So when people quit smoking, where's the money going to come from? And that's one of the big problems. Joff is exactly right. We're responsible as parents for what our children do. Yeah, parents need to be. I'm not going to say they need to be held responsible. They need to hold themselves responsible. But every time a kid does something wrong, it's blamed on the music industry, the gun industry, the tobacco industry, the vape industry. It's everybody else's fault. Uh, and it's gonna hurt more people than just a random juice maker. It's this whole thing. A juice company goes out of business. It's not just going to be the person that owns the business that's hurt by it. It's just not. That's not how business works. It's going to hurt everybody that works for said business. It's going to hurt the people that relied upon that particular juice. I mean, it's going to hurt a lot of people. Yeah, I'm not going to get into the health industry in America. Uh, it is what it is. That's we'll leave the health industry to it. I mean, that's another day. But I mean, follow the money. If the government's getting money from someplace and we're doing something that affects that, they're not going to like it. You're right. I'm not going to argue that. Yeah, that's very true, Kringle. But again, I'm not going to get into the health insurance or the health industry's subject this day. That's another rant for another day. But I'd have to start up a whole nother channel because you know that is most definitely a rabbit hole. But guys, we're coming up on 28 minutes. Uh, so I'm going to jump off of this one. If I've got time before I go to the fire department, I may do a quick stream on here or a quick stream on my Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow that because I'm going to try to start doing more IG streams. Um, and I may even get on Twitch. Who knows? But guys, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Uh, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.